Hello folks, I'm Brian, and here's some advice. Stay tuned for the follow-up letter to a previous episode. We're going to hear from the bridesmaid who refused to change her hair color. Our first letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Kicking My Pregnant Sister-in-Law Out? And this is from Locumus12. My brother, 29, and my sister-in-law, 29, asked Wednesday if they could come visit for that weekend. They're 6 hours away. We said sure, we'd love to see you. Friday afternoon, I had an ultrasound for my 8-week pregnancy. The ultrasound showed likely a miscarriage. My husband, 35, and I were upset, but my bro and sister-in-law were already driving. We didn't cancel the visit. We hadn't told them about the pregnancy, nor had we told our 3 children. When my brother and sister-in-law arrived, they were excited to tell us that sister-in-law is pregnant and due in 2 weeks before I would have been due. I tried to sound excited, and I was happy for them, but I wasn't as excited as I normally would have been. Then it turned into a nightmare. She didn't like supper, so we ordered food for her. She needed her bed moved from one wall to another. Fine. She insisted on 5 pillows to sleep on. I found a couple and she was upset that I couldn't give her more. And then she asked if I could go into the kids' rooms and take theirs. I said no. The next morning she freaked out at 7 a.m. that the kids were eating cereal too loud. She spent the morning curled up on the couch complaining about her morning sickness. I sympathized and I said, it's awful, but it'll go away. She screamed, no, you've never experienced this. They gave me the same anti-nausea drugs as they give chemo patients, so shut up. I got quiet. My husband was making brunch, and she freaked out that he was going to cook bacon because, quote, the smell makes me vomit. We didn't make bacon. She also didn't want us to make eggs or let the kids have syrup on their pancakes. I refused, so she stormed off to her room until mid-afternoon. Mid-afternoon, she decides to go shopping, and she says they'll be back for dinner. We said dinner would be at 5:30. At 5:45, they hadn't shown up and weren't replying to texts, so we ate. They showed up at 6, and she freaked out that we hadn't waited, so we ordered a pizza. She spent the next 2 hours complaining about how brutal her pregnancy is and how it sucks so much that she's never going to go through it again. I lost it. I told her that I was in the middle of a miscarriage and I'd love to have the problems that she was having because it would mean that my baby was okay. Everything got quiet and she looked at me and said, I can't believe you used the M word around me. That's bad luck, and if I lose my baby, it's your fault. About 15 minutes later, she said, I'm glad you lost your baby. You already had 3, and if you had 1 right now, you'd just be upstaging me. I'm glad your baby is dead. I burst into tears and my husband told her to get out. He said, I've watched you complain and whine and complain all weekend. We stayed quiet about what was going on with us because we thought you deserved a chance to enjoy sharing your news. But this is enough. Get out now. She started screaming about how we were jerks while my brother packed their stuff and left. So are my husband and I jerks? Well, OP, I think this is fairly straightforward. I'm going to say that you're not a jerk, 0 out of 5. You were more than accommodating for your sister-in-law, almost to the point of sainthood. The most frustrating bit I see is how she told you that she was glad you miscarried. I can understand that she was worried about losing her pregnancy, but there was no excuse for this. That was completely unacceptable. It seems like she is an extremely self-centered person who has an utter lack of respect for anyone. She should actually apologize to you about how she acted. I think this is a really unfortunate situation, and hopefully things aren't damaged between you and your brother. I don't understand where your sister-in-law is coming from here. I really think that you folks seemed like you were more than accommodating for her. You did everything that you could to make sure she was comfortable. You gave them food, you gave them shelter, you gave them a place to rest their head, and all she did, it seems like, is complain the entire time that she was there. You didn't deserve any of the abuse that she threw at you, and this is crazy that she acts this way. Really, I think that she needs to see a therapist because something is wrong inside her head if she thought that was acceptable. Anyhow, good luck, and I hope that everything works out for the best, and I'm really sorry about your miscarriage. Our next letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Making Sick Jokes While I'm Driving? And this is from Am I the Jerk 623. I know right off the bat I sound like a jerk, but hear me out. I'm an 18-year-old male, and I was driving today with my friends in the car, and I wanted to scare them as a joke, but they took it seriously. I pulled onto the motorway at night and started making jokes about how I hated life. At first, they started laughing, so I carried on. As my speed increased to 70, I said, I've made peace, and I'm ready to meet my creator. How about you guys? All of this was when I was increasing my speed. Right after that, one of my female friends started screaming at me to stop the car, but I couldn't. I would get into trouble for stopping on the hard shoulder, because Because of that, they got scared, but as soon as there was a slip road, I pulled over and they jumped out. They said they will never forgive me for doing this and that I'm a jerk. All apart from one of my mates left. He told me that he knew I was joking, and he didn't get why they were upset. After that, we went home while they took an Uber back. Sorry if this sounds like a jerk post, but am I a jerk for the harmless joke that was misinterpreted? Well, OP, I'm gonna say yes. You get a 4 out of 5, if not more. This is like pulling out a gun and waving it around and claiming that you're sick of life and that you're gonna take everyone with you. Maybe a better example would be a pilot flying a plane and he starts putting the plane into a nosedive and talking on the intercom about how he's done with life and that he's ready to meet his maker. No one would find that a funny joke. That pilot would lose their job. You know, the person, if you were waving a gun around, you would get arrested. You are driving a deadly machine, a machine that can easily kill people. It's not funny when something bad can happen. Your friends had no way of knowing that you weren't going to carry through with your words. For all they knew, you were sick of life. You started carrying on and accelerating, and I can understand why they would misinterpret that situation. So, driving comes with a lot of responsibility, and today you prove that you're not ready to shoulder that responsibility. I think that you should apologize to your friends and explain to them that this joke was in poor taste and never do this again. This was an extremely irresponsible thing to do. Our next letter is titled, Will I Be a Jerk If I Refuse to Attend My Cousin's Wedding After She Asked Me to Dye My Hair? And this is from Freaking Meridia. This is actually a follow-up to a letter that I read a few episodes ago. If you want to check that out, then you'll understand what's going on here, and I think this is actually a really good post, so let's dive right into it. Yes, I'm aware that my cousin posted here, and oh, the irony as I showed her this sub last year, but I really don't care if she sees this. Maybe it'll hammer the point home. And I doubt that she will see it as they are certainly on their pre-wedding honeymoon. Legit didn't even know those were a thing. So Amy is getting married. She has a blue and green purple themed wedding. People are supposed to wear those colors, including the maid of honor and the bridesmaid. What irked me about the post is that my hair is not flaming Meridia red, maybe slightly more ginger in low light. This whole thing is completely insane to me, and I have no idea where it has come from. My hair is what would be described as strawberry blonde, maybe ginger blonde. Those are actual pictures of my hair, not some poor strangers on Instagram. Things have been awkward from the start, with Amy demanding that everyone has to stick to this dress code or they will be barred by security from entering. She has also asked anyone with hair past their waist to cut it in a Facebook post, but it got no replies, and I can't think of anyone except me maybe and my sister with super long hair. My mom and dad are both way more ginger than me, and my sister, who is 8 months pregnant, has hair that's not much shorter than mine and is super ginger, and Amy has never asked her to touch her hair. If anything, I got the dull hair gene. At first, Amy called me up to tell me that she had made a post here. I took a look and had to laugh, to be honest. She linked me early on, clearly thinking people would agree with her, but she said she was worried when it blew up. After things went south, she decided to try and negotiate with me. Still completely bizarre, as my hair is not Meridia red. My mom and dad called around a few days back to talk to her about it, but got absolutely nowhere with her, as she's still insisting that I dye my hair a dark brown for the day or get a wig. My aunt, Amy's mom, called to apologize to me and asked me to please come, but I don't feel welcome. Can you imagine attending a wedding where the bride stares daggers at you the whole time? And what if security refuses to let me in? These are extremely similar to the gowns the bridesmaids are going to wear. I've tried mine on and absolutely does not clash at all. I've bought and paid for my dress, so I don't owe her anything, but our families are so upset that I'm dropping out. But if I go, I have no choice except to dye my hair, as there was never a compromise or a middle ground. It was dye it, buy a short brown bob wig, or don't come. She specified it has to be a short brown bob wig for some reason. Will I be a jerk if I say duck it and stay home? Edit. To be fair, I dyed a small strand of the hair underneath to test how it washed out 4 weeks ago. It's still dark brown. Alright folks, hopefully you enjoyed the other half of this story. I of course give OP here 0 out of 5. This is absolutely crazy. I can't believe that her cousin is wanting her to dye her hair like this. This is ridiculous. Hopefully, OP, you don't have to deal with this insanity. Here are some pictures of her hair so that you can see how red it really is not. Thanks for the follow-up, OP, and we really enjoyed reading this. Alright, folks, here's our last reading. Am I a jerk for telling my biological daughter that I never want to speak to her again? And this is from Throwaway Powkey. I'm a 32-year-old male, married to my wife for the last 2 years, and we have a 1-year-old son together. We're generally doing well in life, and things are looking good. Around 16 years ago, I got my then girlfriend pregnant. I wore a condom, but it still happened. She wanted to keep the baby, and I told her that I'm going to leave her if she does that. I was too young to be a father. My parents were moving state at the time, so it was good timing. I told her I never wanted her to contact me again unless it's for child support payments. Well, my biological daughter, 16, contacted me on Facebook and asked me to meet her in person. I knew I had to deal with this like a man, so I agreed. We met up and I explained the situation and how I didn't plan on pregnancy, which she didn't know. She seemed surprised by the revelation. She thought she was planned, another lie her mom told her. Well, I told her in no uncertain terms, I respect you coming to meet me, but I do not want a relationship with you. I have a family now. Please do not contact me again. She just got up and left angrily, but not before calling me a jerk to my face. My sister agreed with her. Was I a jerk? How else was I supposed to deal with this? Wow, just wow, OP. I'm going to give you a full 5 out of 5 here. Did you really come here expecting that people weren't going to call you a jerk? Your daughter didn't choose to be born. It seems like her mother isn't necessarily telling her the truth, and she has no way of knowing that you wanted nothing to do with her. You got her hopes up by meeting with her, and then you dashed them to the ground. I know you didn't want to be a father, and that's understandable. And I know that you explained it to her that you weren't ready to be a father then, and that you were too irresponsible for a child. But try to think about things from her perspective now. She has probably felt rejected, at least on some level, her entire life, and wondered why you weren't there for her. And then suddenly one day she finds you, and she gets her hopes up. Then you respond to her, and you agree to meet with her. And she probably is thinking at this point in time that she can finally have a relationship with you. She was probably excited and happy, only for you to tell her to get lost. And now, she's been rejected twice. Once when she was born, and now again. And you know what, OP? You accomplished what you set out to do. You will probably never hear from her again. And that's really, it seems like, what all you ever wanted out of this. You don't want to hear from her. So, yeah, you're a jerk here. And you have the audacity to say, how else could I have dealt with this? Well, maybe you could have just not been a jerk. You could have started by actually sitting down with your daughter and fostering a relationship. You could have explained to her that you weren't ready to be a father to her, but you would be willing to sit down and talk with her and have a conversation and try to build a relationship with her. I think that's about the only things you could have done here to do a better job, other than not answering the Facebook post at all or telling her right off the bat that you weren't interested and not getting her hopes up. Anyhow, you're a jerk, and that's that. Alright folks, that's all the time we have for tonight. Hopefully you enjoyed these stories, and let me know if you have any comments. Consider giving me a thumbs up if you think I did a good job here, and consider giving me a thumbs down if you think I did a poor job. Again, if you have any stories to share with me, please leave them in the comments below or send me a link. And have a great day.